Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 1999's The Blair Witch Project. So a couple of things. So one, this movie was requested on Patreon by Steph. So thank you, Steph, for that. And two, I'm actually surprised we haven't reviewed this movie yet. Obviously, one of the directors, Eduardo Sánchez, who we did the interview with, we actually reviewed Satanic Hispanics, one of his newer films that he directed a piece of, before we did this one. So this kind of surprised me that the Blair Witch. Now, watching this too, by the way, like when they're going to the tent and like all the hands or whatever, I was like, I wonder if Eduardo Sánchez is just like on the outside of the tent, just fucking with them. It brought something new to the movie for me, and it made me laugh thinking about that.
And it wasn't him because they were child hands. You could see the little hands. So I think Donald Trump was just an uncredited extra.
Is it possible this story is true?
Before we get into the cast, the short cast of the Blair Witch Project, if you want to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, you could follow us at Kiss the Reviews. And obviously, if you want an ad-free experience with a bunch of extras and the Amy Chronicles that we've been doing, you can sign up and subscribe to us on Patreon. It's only a couple of bucks for the entry level with no ads and all that stuff. So if you want to do any of that, go over to Patreon at Kiss the Reviews. Let's get into the cast of 1999's The Blair Witch Project. This film stars Heather Donahue as Heather, Michael C. Williams as Mike, and Joshua Leonard as Josh.
This is literally how I would have to be cast in a movie. Is my name Corey?
You were correct.
But
yeah, no, I would definitely not know my name if you gave me a character name in anything.
I play so many different characters in my day-to-day life. I can pretty much remember. It's Ed. Okay, my name's Ed for this one. Gotcha.
Well, La Tita, check you out, Emma Stone.
Well, that's because I have 37 personalities in here. So,
hell yes.
I did not see this in theaters. I did not see this until probably a year after it came out at your apartment, because I think we went out drinking the night before. I was too hungover to go into work. So you left, went to work, and you were like, oh, hey, I just got the Blair Witch DVD if you want to watch it. And this shit scared the fucking piss out of me. I watched
Which
this
isn't
shit.
good when you're dehydrated already.
Yeah,
That's bad.
I watched this in broad daylight during the day in your apartment, and I was like, I think I want to go to work now. Like, it's scary.
That's how you know it's that scary.
Yes.
No. Yeah, my first experience with the Blair Witch, I remember seeing the previews for it. And I grew up on horror movies. Like, that was always been my bag. My mother took me to every single horror movie since I was old enough to experience a horror movie, which was like, in her mind, 10. So totally grew up with this shit.
Yep.
And I remember seeing the preview for it. Thought, wow, that looks really good. And then the buzz started to come around it. And you can't talk about this movie without mentioning the marketing buzz behind it, because this was really the first viral thing.
Yep.
I think that came from the internet was this. Is it a true story? Is it not? Because the filmmakers, Eduardo and Daniel, basically built a website totally dedicated to these missing people, being Heather, Mike, and Josh. And where did they go? Interviews with their family who were never cast in the movie.
Yeah.
Interviews with people around town, some who were, you see with interviews in the movie, some who weren't. They brought sheriffs in, like they had like fake search parties looking for these people. It was done so well that that air of mystery, really, you didn't know.
Yeah.
And a part of you was like, yeah, like not me, because I was a sadistic teenager at the time still. But I know a lot of people were like, are they profiting off of these young kids going missing? And then like, we're going to watch them get murdered on camera? That's insane. Like there were talks like Sally Jesse Raphael and Ricky Lake and shit. We're like, what the fuck is wrong with America? We're going to hell. They're showing this. And luckily I found out right before that it was bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a fictional tale, which was awesome. But the girl I took to the movie to go see it with me had no idea. So when the title card pops up that says in 1994, they went out to do this documentary, this is the footage. She looks over at me and she goes, is this a true story? And immediately, because I'm a piece of shit, went, yeah, this is totally real. I think this woman is still in a state institution. I fucked her up by telling her that was real. Even though I told her afterwards it was all fake, she did not believe me, and she was terrified.
Here's the thing. So you mentioned like the opening, like shaky handy cam, like prologue, setting up the whole movie. That 3 student filmmakers disappeared in the woods near Burkittsville. Like this was so huge, and you mentioned all of like the website that was set up and all of that. Like I had gone to the website, I'd looked at all that stuff. And the cool thing about this was the internet was in like, it's still technically in its infancy. But then it was like, if it was on the internet, that shit was real. Like, like everybody believed fucking everything. And the cool thing that you can't do today that you could do back then, because we've seen other movies, Smile, It, with like the clowns showing up randomly with balloons all over the country and yada, yada. So we've seen these marketing campaigns like that. With this, do you know how hard it would be in this day and age? Everybody's got a camera phone, the whole nine, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of that shit. To have a cast of 3 people, you would just be like, just go home and never leave your house. And we're going to do this marketing campaign for X amount of months leading up to the release of this film. Like it would be virtually impossible to do the same thing they did then, now.
You were correct.
My favorite part, like, and this is why I love this film, and this is why I like horror movies, because you get the beginning, which whether it's a family moving into a haunted house, or in this case, they're filming the documentary. They're so happy at the beginning of the movie. Like, they're like, yeah, we're going to go do the documentary. Did you get the DAT? And if I heard the term DAT one more time in this movie, I'm like, that should be a drinking game. But,
oh God, cameras, don't do that. You're going to kill people. But like, don't do that. It's not good for you.
So, but they're all happy at the beginning. They're getting their shit together. They're heading out to Burkittsville to begin shooting this documentary. And they start interviewing the locals about the legend of the Blair Witch and how 7 local kids went missing. And this local hermit was convicted for kidnapping and murdering all those kids. And we get my favorite interview, which I think is most people's favorite, which is the Mary Brown interview. The local crazy bumpkin. And I think every town, like every small town in America has that one.
Oh yeah. And if you're like, my town doesn't, you're Mary Brown.
Yes, that is a really kind of scary story.
What I love about this setup too, that I really noticed or could have really appreciate this go around, because I am a crotchety old man, is how much these kids acted like college kids doing a big assignment.
Yes.
Like using the term DAT over and over and over and over again, because it's the technical term. You know what I mean? Like I feel professional when I say DAT instead of camera or audio or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you just, they're so into it and they're acting so faux professional with it. And like when Heather puts on her makeup, she's wearing way too much lipstick. You know what I mean? And she's out in the cemetery. Her voice changes as soon as in the summer and autumn. Winds
That's my
blow. It's like she's
favorite.
doing the Raiders video
I
intro.
love it.
But upon inspection, the bodies had been removed by persons unknown. The search party claims that the stench of death was still thick.
I was like, oh my God. Like when I was in college, it was journalism. I had to do like newscasts and video stuff, and the same thing. I would change my voice because I thought that was just how you spoke in whatever project you were doing.
100%.
It made me laugh so hard.
My first job in radio was news. And the first time I ever read the news on actual air, I tried to sound like a proper weatherman. And they're like, what the fuck? You know your voice is doing something, right? Like, calm down, take a breath, and just read the goddamn news.
The police in Marysville, Ohio, interviewed 17 people over a missing bike.
Dude, you were born to be a strip club DJ with your voice.
Oh, yeah. Next up to the stage, it's Portia. Put your hands together.
It's so good. I can't do that. I know you're surprised, but when I do it, it sounds Russian.
She's dancing to Break Stuff from Limp Bizkit.
Put your hand together. See, I can't do it. I just try and it fucking goes Russian immediately.
Oh, so they get back to their motel after interviewing all the locals. They drink, they get all fucked up. They wake up the next morning and they head to the woods where they run into like the local dudes fishing.
Those guys are awesome.
Those are my favorite guys because those are, and that's what I liked about this movie. All the locals, that's who these people are. Like the two dudes fishing, and you could tell they've been friends or father and son or however that works out, but they're just arguing about the story.
Up the side of the tree and it disappeared over them. Oh, you're full of it.
And it it just adds to the whole thing, the whole movie, and how realistic it is.
If you came up to Armando and I fishing and asked us about any urban legend, that is literally the conversation that would be had right there and then.
Yep.
Armando would be like, you damn fool kids will never learn. And I'd be like, I saw it once. You'd be like, you shut the fuck up. You didn't see shit. I saw it, swear to God.
Swear to God, hand to Jehovah.
And I tell some crazy fucking story about how I fucking saw it that nobody would believe, and like 3 people would buy in hardback, 2 in paperback. Back to the Hunt, available now.
Back to the Hunt. So they set up camp the first night. It's pouring rain. They sleep. The next day, Josh says he heard cackling during the night. So. And they pack up their shit. They go traipsing through the woods to, shoot a couple of different things. And this is supposed to be a really quick in and out of the woods kind of situation. And we get the beginnings of their issues with the map. They have more issues with the map than fucking Dora the Explorer.
Could you check the map and tell me what it says?
Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, amateur hikers. Uncle Corey here. As an avid hiker, like I go out and just build my own shelters. I don't need to take a tent like some pussy. Okay? So when you're hiking through the woods and you're traveling by map, as Muppets do, and you don't really know where you're going and you get a little confused, the one thing they fuck up here the most, and almost from the jump, is you never, under any circumstances, let a woman lead you. Are you fucking crazy? A woman? In the woods? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and Mike, see, so when I first saw this movie, like Josh was kind of my favorite because he's just like the stoner. He's trying to calm everybody down about the map thing.
Josh is cool.
Mike is me. Mike is Mike is the realest dude in this bitch. He's frustrated immediately over the map. They haven't been walking but an hour. And he was like, bitch, you don't know where the fuck we're going. You don't know what here, let me take a look at the map. Oh, you don't want me to take a look at the map? I'm going to kick that bitch into the fucking creek. Like, he is the realest dude from start to finish. And I love him throughout this whole movie. and they come across that area in the woods where they're, you know, they have the seven separate like rock piles.
Mm-hmm.
And Heather's trying to remember something that Mary Brown said about a pile of rocks in the Bible. And just FYI,
don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, kids. Again, you're out hiking in the woods. You're looking for the Blair Witch. You're looking for a witch or some ghostly figure in the woods and yada yada. You come across a pile of rocks that looks like somebody actually put it there. Don't start thinking about the crazy lady who was saying some shit to you, okay? Just get the fuck out. Just get the fuck out. Immediately turn around and egress. Just out the same way you came in. You know what? This is fucked up. And this is why I like Mike. Because Mike, this whole time, isn't about like, ooh, it's the Blair Witch fucking with us. He was like, listen, there's some country bumpkins out here fucking with us. And you know what I would hate worse than a witch fucking with me? Is local yokels following me in the woods. Because listen, the witch gonna take you down to the basement, make you face a corner and kill you. Cool. The local yokels that are following you are going to anally penetrate you, then beat you, lock you in their basement, and then maybe you die eventually. Okay? Give me
or
the
you
witch
get a record deal with Bad Boy Records.
Take that. But like, that's why I love Mike. But she's like, oh, well, Mary Brown said the thing about the Bible. And you're in the woods, guy. Just get the fuck out. Immediately get the fuck out. But they don't.
Dude. No, and you are 100% Mike.
Absolutely.
100% Mike. And I used to think I was more Josh. Like, I'd just be kind of cool in there. And I mean, when you say like, oh, he's the stoner, and yeah, that would be me. Like, I'm too high for you guys to fucking fight over a map. Can we just go? Okay. I have a compass. Let's walk. That would be me. And now I realize I'd be Heather, because as soon as I came across some spooky shit, I'd be like, watch this, motherfuckers. Remember that crazy old lady holding the Bible? She said spooky shit about rocks in Psalms 38:42. I don't even know if that's a thing. Like, I would just fucking go off on some crazy wild shit. Just to, like, I'm going to make my documentary the bomb. And I'm going to do it by using your fear.
You are absolutely Heather. And this is what I loved about Heather, because, you know, they're obviously going through, they're getting more lost. They, you know, they continue to argue, right? You know, as Heather is super confident. Like, Corey has the best fake confidence out of anybody that I know. And I think you are Heather for that. And they also, you know, they're hearing noises and she's like, oh, I got to get the thing with the thing. And I'm like, dude, this is Corey. He's like, I'm making my film. Okay. Ooh, you see little twig men in the trees. My favorite part is this, because they're like, you got the shot, Heather. Let's get the fuck out of here. And she's like, yeah. No, I'm coming right now. I'm totally coming.
Okay. We're leaving right now. Okay, we're out of here. I'm leaving.
Yeah, the difference would be once they hit my tent, I'm either fighting or I'm flighting. And it's a matter of if I can't flight easily, I'm fighting everybody. But that would be the difference. I would not stick around. Once little kids are laughing and banging on my tent, I'm gone. Everybody has a fucking line in the sand, and that's mine.
Absolutely.
And if you're a little kid thinking you're going to sneak up on me in the middle of the night and bang on my tent, I will fuck you up. Straight up, I will. Witches, little kids, I don't give a shit. If we're in the woods in the middle of the night and you're fucking with me,
it'll look like the end of Step Brothers, where they just beat the shit out of all the little kids. That's Corey.
On God, I will.
Except Corey will have the night vision in the woods. But that night, they hear more noises around them. They go outside to check it out. They find nothing. And the next morning they wake up and they find the 3 piles of rocks around their tent.
Mhm.
And after this, we get the case of the lost map, which this is the first like real sticking point. They've been arguing up until now about like where they're going and getting back to the car and yada yada. But now the map's gone. Josh implies that Heather hid it or is lying about it so she could stay in the woods and continue to film her movie. And we get Mike laughing hysterically as he admits that he kicked the map into the creek the day before.
It's fucked up, but I kicked that fucking map into the creek yesterday. It was useless. I kicked that fucker into the creek.
That's
Oh,
me.
dude, that's totally you. That's
kicked that
100% you.
I kicked that bitch into the creek yesterday. Nobody knew where the fuck we were going.
Amazing.
That's drunk
I'm so
Armando.
proud of your self-awareness.
I'm
Yeah.
very, very self-aware.
And Mike's comic relief here is so good at breaking up the tension that's building throughout this.
Yeah.
Because it's going through my mind the whole time, too. Like, these three don't know each other all that well. Heather and Josh know each other from class.
Yeah.
Mike and Josh are friends. Heather doesn't really know him at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like on this multi-day project, going out into the woods that nobody's been to, camping for multiple nights. Like all of this tension building with a group of people that really have no base of loyalty or friendship.
Yeah.
It's just adding to this tension and this pressure. And then somebody like Mike or Armando comes along and they're like, I kicked that bitch into the fucking creek 3 days ago.
It's
like
his body language and everything had me rolling because he's very animated here.
Yes.
And, they all got their packs on and everything's kind of stiff as they're walking through the woods or whatever. And he just loses his shit. He's like, I fucking kicked that bitch into the creek. Like literally one of my favorite scenes in this movie. And that night they decide we're not going to, no fire. Every time we've lit a fire, something has happened. It's gotten progressively worse. So no fire. We're turning off the lights on the camera and we're just going to go to fucking sleep. And hopefully because at this point they just think it's fucking local people fucking with them. And
see, this is no. This is all wrong. This is all wrong.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, amateur campers. Uncle Corey here. If you've been camping for multiple days, you're lost, you feel like some locals or some people at the campgrounds or wherever you may be at are fucking with you, you don't turn out your lights and try and hide. You go full fucking Schwarzenegger and Predator. You light a fire, you fucking hold up a torch, and you go, oh! Call them in. Let them know that this is not going to be an easy takedown. It's the same tactic you use with a bear in the wild. You make yourself big and loud. Just a piece of advice for you.
Corey's next movie, Corey, the Liberal Mountain Man.
Oh, dude. It'd be like, hey, man, you want some food? We're going to fuck you in the butt, boy. Oh, okay. Okay, fucko. Let's go. That's how that movie would go.
Hell yes.
You're like Equalizer 3 when Denzel gets shot in the back. You just start shooting all over the place. Somebody's catching one of these.
Well, you've seen Shane Gillis's impersonation of like ISIS shooting a gun and their feet moving. Like that's exactly how I am when I shoot a gun. I'm too little, man. Those things push me far.
Yeah, but that night their plan backfires. And this is where they get all the hands on the tent. And the tent starts shaking. You hear the little kids' voices, like a baby crying. And they bust out of this tent and just run. And then they're in the middle of my favorite is that they never go back until the sun comes up. They're literally just like all around a tree stump. Like, we're just going to sleep here until the sun comes.
And accurate as fuck too, because you dare fuck around, keep making noise. You get to a dark spot with your friends and you just huddle together.
Yes.
But this is the one thing I noticed, and this is the only time I've ever thought this, the millions of times I've seen this film. Every time I go camping, I have a knife.
or
And
something.
it's not to stab people, but you need like some sort of a sharpened tool just in case of other shit. Branches, splinters, all kinds of different crazy shit can happen. So you have a knife or a little hatchet or something. Dude, like in this moment, I'm shanking. That tent's getting cut up from the inside. Period.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, if they're still laughing and like no blood or I'm not hitting anything, then yeah, I'll drop the knife and fucking run because you win. If a knife can't beat you, I don't want to play anymore.
You were right.
If the first night I'm fucking out, we're only 100 yards from the car. I know where the car is. If Josh wakes up the next day, and this is where Mike's a little off base. If Josh wakes up the next day and he's like, I heard cackling last night, I'd be like, fucking did ya? I'm out. I'll go sleep in the car. I'll wait for you bitches over there. Here's the dat. Here's the this. Here's the that. Here's my pack. Fuck you. I'm sleeping in the car.
Okay, so this just gave me a really crazy idea. How much money could we raise for you and I to go out into the woods for a night?
Not enough. I ain't a camper, man. I'm a
I'll
city
take care of you. I'll take care of you, baby.
Boy.
I'll make it all nice.
No, thanks. I might go, again, 100 yards in. The minute some crazy shit breaks off, I'm out. I'm out. There's not a whole night.
So if we raised like, let's say $2,000, you'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Fuck no. I could sell all my equipment in here for $2,000. Like it's gotta be, it's gotta be a decent amount for me to spend the night in the woods.
For $1,000, I'll go fucking naked and afraid now. I will walk out of my house naked and walk to woods the entire way. We need it. If people can raise $1,000, it goes straight to Corey, and I want a naked and afraid, but not the TV version where they blur out all the bits. I need hanging dong. I need all of it. Well, first off, there ain't nothing hanging about my dong, and second, I come with my own blur because of all of the hair around it. Looks like I'm button on a fur coat. You wouldn't notice shit.
So when they get back, so sun comes up, right? They get back to the campsite. Josh finds all his shit scattered all over the place, and there's like green, blue slime all over everything. Which again, at one point, I'm doing two things here, right? Because Josh is like, it's just water. He's like, oh no, what is that? Like he starts freaking the fuck out, right? Because again, it's all his shit. At what point somebody's climbing a tree? Josh has the build of a man that can climb a tree. Like I would climb the tree and go up to the tip top. Like, do I see a clearing? Do I see, and we're going in that fucking direction? Like that's one. Two, if I can't do that, or we can't find our way out, the minute I find blue slimy shit all over my stuff after little kids were just like fucking with me the night before, or ghost kids or whatever the hell, I think I'm just ending it. Like right then and there.
You're going to lay down.
I'm done. Pour honey on me naked. I'm done. Just come get it. Come get me. I give up here.
I agree with you. But I think we're also being a little unfair because we keep saying like, we're getting the fuck out. We're running. We're getting the fuck out. They're trying.
Oh no, absolutely.
And what's awesome here, and I wanted to ask Eduardo this, but also we weren't there to really talk about the Blair Witch, so I didn't want to bore him with just questions nonstop. The myriad questions I have about the fucking Blair Witch Project, I didn't want to just continue bombarding him with that. But I wanted to know, was the witch fucking them up?
Like turning them around?
Because they keep ending up at the same spots over and over again. And I know it in movies and in TV shows, a lot of people like, oh no, we're back at the same spot. How'd that happen? That's a lot harder than you think it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's really, really difficult if you have no idea where you're going to end up back in the exact same spot.
Especially when you're walking in the same direction.
Yes. let alone once, but multiple times throughout.
Yeah.
So that, like, I don't know if the witch is fucking with them. Yeah, we're running, but it won't matter.
Yeah.
She's just fucking with you at this point. And if they're not, how in the fuck are you that bad? Follow the goddamn stream, north or south, east or west. You will get there.
Yeah, I just assumed that the Blair Witch was fucking with them the whole time. That's how they get turned around. But
that's what I always thought. Oh, can I add one more thing here about the tents? I'm sorry. With them, the kids banging on the tent.
Yeah.
Because I've heard a lot of a popular theory out there, because, you know, people like to speculate, like, what really happened? A popular theory is that Josh and Mike actually were the ones in on this together. Like, this was all a ruse, and they are going to kill Heather. Because you never actually see Mike dead, and Josh disappears.
Yeah.
However, Mike, Josh, and Heather are all in the tent when the kids are banging on the tent and laughing outside. End of the fucking theory.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like that theory's
absolutely.
Dead. The second that scene happens, that theory's gone.
And I'll tell you this, my two favorite scenes come up right here. One, after the whole, you know, tent banging thing, Josh finds all the shit scattered. They're like, now they're at the height of their like, fuck this.
Mm-hmm.
They're scared, they're tired, they're hungry. And Josh takes the camera and he's filming Heather. And he's like, oh, you know, I see why you really like this, because this is such a stoner thing to say, by the way. He's like, it's like real life, but not really. And you're in this like fake,
dude,
whatever.
This is brutal.
And he just keeps going in on her. Here's your motivation. You're stuck in the woods. And he goes into this like whole thing, and and he just keeps needling her, and she just breaks down. This is such a brutal scene. He's just verbally abusing her here. And just to watch her break down as he keeps doing it the whole scene's amazing.
This was, if you go back and watch the interview with Eduardo, and I highly suggest you do, because it is a fantastic conversation. But in the interview, Armando asked him a question about the actors and how he got them in the woods and keep them motivated, because there is no spooky monster or a guy in a costume, or you know what I mean? It's them in the woods. And Eduardo basically said, in no uncertain terms, I'm paraphrasing, that they tortured these guys throughout the shoot. Less food, less sleep, you know, just basically to get them into this worn and ragged state. And if this scene is the product of that,
oh yeah,
wow. Fuck you, Actors Guild, because this is how a good director gets this kind of shit out of actors nobody had ever heard of before.
Yeah.
Because Josh is just pissed, and he's tense, and he wants to fucking hurt her.
Yeah.
He wants her to feel so bad and responsible for everything that's happening right now.
Yep.
And her just break with that camera just focused on her face the entire scene, and watching her devolve from just like, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm worn out, to just totally breaking down is fucking fantastic. You're right. This is one of the best scenes in the movie.
Literally one of my favorites. And right after this is where Josh goes missing. He disappears in the middle of the night. They wake up, they don't find him. They find Heather finds the bundle of sticks and his teeth and his hair and all that shit inside, and she freaks the fuck out. And
this scene's dope too, because she initially wakes up. She's the first one to get up. She sees this bundle of sticks and she just tosses it. She's like, there's something. She tells Mike, like, there's something here. I don't know what it is. I'm just throwing it away. Yeah. But Heather, being the inquisitive Heather that she is, has to know what is wrapped up in those fucking sticks.
Yeah.
And what they never really say is, that's Josh's flannel that's wrapped up.
Yes.
And is used as the baggie for the teeth and everything. Ugh, dude.
Yeah.
Incredible.
No, that's fucking brutal. And they go to sleep that night. They can't find Josh. They hear Josh screaming out in the woods. They try to look, no luck. And later, this is where Heather videotapes her confession. This is the second. This is a great scene. This is also probably the most famous and memed scenes in the past 25 years.
Mocked to no end.
Everybody has done a variation of this in some sort of film or just a video. Like, fuck, I've seen them on TikToks. The shit's 25 years old. And I've still seen stuff fairly recently with that confessional, because it's just here. And she's got the snot running and she's crying. And again, just like the scene before with her and Josh, when Josh is berating her, this scene is just her completely. She is a broken person at this point.
Yeah, especially like go back to what we were saying at the beginning. She's wearing too much makeup.
Yeah.
As soon as she's on camera, her voice is very professional. And this is just somebody, she doesn't care. The camera's not really focused right. It's got like this much of her face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she obviously no makeup. She just tears streaming down. It's a real voice, just blurting out this fucking diarrhea of an apology, which was just, and this is what's awesome about how much this holds up. Is it has been memed and picked on and made fun of and mocked and all of this shit since this movie's come out. And if you still are watching this movie, it holds up. I didn't laugh
Absolutely.
at it.
No, I didn't laugh at it either. And if you think about it, if you go back to the scene with Josh berating her, to your point, he wants to make her feel bad. This is your fucking fault. This was supposed to be like a one-day thing. You fucked us. Your fault. Flash forward a couple more scenes, and she's like, that broke her. And now she's like, videoing her confessional and her apology to everybody's family. And like, like I said, she's a broken fucking person right now. Yeah. And nothing else is going to happen after this scene, except for she dies, because there's no escaping anything. And even if she does escape, bad things are going to happen because her brain is gone at this point.
Oh yeah. Once you've spent like 3 or 4 days with somebody in the woods, and then like one morning you wake up to a baggie of their bloody teeth. Shit's changed.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Also coming up here, between Mike calling out for Josh in the middle of the night after Josh had been missing, and you hear Josh clearly having his teeth pulled out.
Yeah.
And then Mike continuing to look for him when they get to the rusted par cabin, and they're, he's down here, and running after him. That is where Armando stops being Mike immediately. He would never. I went missing for 2 hours. Armando be like, fuck him, he's gone, let's go.
I was like, dude, Corey just pulled an Irish goodbye. He's out. Like, that's how I justify it.
Yeah, that's exactly how you justify it, you piece of shit.
Hey, I'm all about, the minute you go missing, we're done. We're good. I love you. It's been great knowing you, but you went missing. There's been hilljacks or witches or something chasing us through the woods, and you gone. That's where I'm done. Now it's like, even Heather, I could see her. She's standing right there. She might as well not be, because I ain't paying a goddamn bit of attention to her. Because if she goes missing, she goes missing too. I'm all about this guy. It's all about preservation at this point. That's it. So yeah, no. That night, they hear Josh yelling. They run into the house. They're running all through the house. Oh, he's up here. He's downstairs. They run downstairs, and Mike gets down there. You see his camera go down. And then Heather, and you brought this point up in the interview with Eduardo, which was the audio piece of this, which when I originally watched it, even subsequent viewings of it, I don't think I ever really looked at this scene the way you positioned it,
Mhm.
but it's so great
Isn't it?
because Mike goes down, his camera goes down,
Yeah.
and then all you see is Heather's camera, zero audio from Heather's camera. All you get is the faint audio as she's going down the stairs from Mike's camera. And as she gets closer to Mike's camera, the audio increases because she's closer to Mike's camera. And then she sees him in the corner, and then she goes down. End of movie. Like, this whole end piece, the last whatever it is, minute and a half, is shot amazing.
Yeah.
And the audio piece, which is something that when you watch or you know listening to the movie, you catch, but you might not pay attention to. But after your question to Eduardo, when we interviewed him, I was like, okay, I got to pay attention to this last piece. And as I paid more attention to it, I was like, wow. Just the way it was all shot and the audio, like, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's one of those scenes when I had always wondered about it, and then getting to ask Eduardo that question and hearing his answer, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I might be able to be pretty dope with a pen here or there. I am so not ready for Hollywood level writing and technical detail that goes into this, because this is one of those things where, and I think I even said, compared to some other found footage films, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 100 times out of 100, nobody's paying attention to that. If they didn't make it the point of it in this movie, I would have never been able to pick it up.
Yeah.
But just because of it, that in these gigantic fucking radars, I was able to like, oh, that sounds different. So, you know, yeah. But no, this is, when you talk about your favorite scenes, I mean, it's the ending. Yeah, sure. It's climax of the film. It should be pretty fucking solid. But it is so good. It still gives me chills to this day when she pans up and you just see Mike in the corner and you know the story. If you're paying attention to the movie and been following how all the murders happened and the kids' handprints all over the walls and shit, the cabin literally appearing out of nowhere, even though they've been walking in the same place over and over and over again. This whole setup and ending is just spine tingling. And the best part is you never see the witch.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's all psychological. And we talked about it.
I was going to say, the goddamn movie is called The Blair Witch Project, and you never see the goddamn witch. You brought this up, running into the house and like, oh, Armando's not going to run and save his friends. Partly true. And this is the reason why. If I hear Josh calling from inside the house, I might run in like, okay, if I get in, like, I'm good. Like, if I get in and I'm face to face, like, I'll help save you. The minute they run upstairs, okay, and you got the camera going up the stairs, and you have all the weird symbols. Okay, weird symbols. Okay, there's some crazy bitches out here. Like, let me keep my head on a swivel. The minute I see hundreds of little kids' handprints on the wall, sorry, Josh, I'm out. I don't know if the kids' hands were chopped off and they just did like a little fucking family painting time on the wall. I don't know what the deal is. I see little kid handprints on the wall. I'm sorry, dude. I love you. I want to save you, but I'll fight a grown country bumpkin. I ain't fighting people who do this shit on the wall. I'm out. When he's like, oh, he's downstairs, I'd be like, yeah, Heather, he's downstairs. And as I run out the fucking front door, like that's what's happening next.
Normally I would agree with you, but I just had this epiphany where I'm like, I don't even like alive kids. If it was legal, I would throw them off fucking cliffs like I'm in Yellowstone, bro. Like, that ain't no thing. Train stopped coming. So I'm like, a little fucking dead kid gonna scare me? Fuck no. Show yourself, bitch. Be more than a mist and watch you get fucked up. Because I've been dying for this and there ain't no laws that got beating little kids.
That's
At least
why
when they're dead.
That's why you weren't allowed around my kid until he was at least 15. So it's fair. That's
Well,
fair.
that and the magic tricks I do.
Oh, not impressed? How about this?
I've seen this movie a million times. Like I said, I watched this at your house when we were super young after it came out. I loved it then. I love it now. And I've seen it, I don't even know how many times between then and now. And even though I haven't watched Blair Witch in a minute, like watching it now, there's certain movies that bring you back. Like it all still holds up. It's so good. But there's movies when you watch them, I'm literally back in your apartment. Like it just mentally, it just takes me back, and nothing changes. It's so fucking good. Like I can't say enough good things about it that everybody else that has seen this movie has said. Like I'll sing this movie's praises till the day I die. Love it.
Yeah, this is one I'm standing 10 toes down for every time.
Yeah,
every time. It holds a special place in my heart. It was so innovative and different and terrifying in a psychological way that I hadn't seen since maybe Halloween or Alien.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? When it's just a different air about it. I had never experienced something like this. The marketing campaign that went along with it was just so much fun, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Period.
100%,
point blank.
100%.
And look, we've talked about this numerous times on this show, and I don't give a shit if it's not your favorite movie or not.
Yep.
It's fine. So save the comments about all the fucking the better found footage with because I don't fucking care. You like what you like. We give you our opinion. End of the fucking discussion.
You were correct.
And by the way, if you don't like this movie, you're fucking wrong.
Agreed, 100%. And before we end this, I'm just going to give a few shout outs as we're going to do. And I'm doing the few shout outs because the list is a little short still for Patreon subscribers. When it gets too long, we'll just have credits at the end of this with thanking everybody for subscribing to Patreon. But Patreon subscribers: April, Damian, Christina, who also does our social media. Thank you. Brian, Steph, Robert, Josh, D-Pain, who I think is T-Pain's brother, Sybil, Jay, Brea, and David. Thank you all for being the first up to bat on Patreon. We really appreciate it. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to go over to Patreon and subscribe, we would absolutely appreciate it. When we do hit the $1,000 mark, apparently Corey's going to do the Naked and Afraid in the woods. So
no, we're going camping in the woods.
Fuck that. You can go camping.
We'll go
camping.
Come camping to me because I don't have snakes like you got snakes in Florida. So you come to me to go camping and we'll be cool.
I'll go camping if we get like a Winnebago or something like that. That's camping for me. I need a recliner. I need like some satellite TV or something. Like, I'll go outside. We'll roast some marshmallows. I'll be like, that was fun. Let's go back inside and play some Xbox or something. But that's all I got.
Just end the show. I'm so ashamed of you.
For Corey, I'm Armando. I'm apparently Corey's disappointed in me. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1999's The Blair Witch Project.